What if I told you that you could generate unlimited sight reading exercises in any key, multiple time signatures, and any rhythmic combination you want completely free? Well, I built it, and today I'm going to show you exactly how the sight reading generator works, why I made it, and how it can transform your practice routine in ways you never thought possible. Hey everyone, I'm AJ Hansen with Level Up Your Guitar, where I teach cool songs organized into level-based playlists that make you better fast. If you're new here, hit subscribe. I drop fresh lessons every week. But today is different. Today I'm not teaching you a song, I'm showing you a tool I built that's going to revolutionize how you practice sight reading. And the best part, it's completely free, links in the description. Alright, here's the thing about sight reading. It's a skill every musician knows they need, but almost nobody practices consistently. Why? Because traditional sight reading books are expensive, they're static, and once you've read through a page, you've memorized it. It's no longer sight reading, it's just reading. As a guitar teacher, I was constantly searching for fresh material for my students. I'd photocopy exercises, transpose them by hand, create custom drills, and it was exhausting. I thought there has to be a better way. So I built one. Now, I'm not a professional programmer. I'm a self-employed guitar teacher who took advantage of Replit's AI programmer to solve a problem. And honestly, that's the beauty of building something yourself. You make exactly what you need. I started simple. First, generating random notes in the treble clef. Then I added rhythms, then rests, key signatures, ties, all that stuff. Then I thought, well, what if a new student needs to work on specific note ranges? So I added customizable note selection. What if you need to hear what you're playing? There's MIDI playback with different instruments. The feature list keeps growing because I keep asking what would make this actually useful in real practice sessions. All right, so now we're in mini-me mode. So here's the website. Again, it's www.sheetmusicgenerator.com. And to go through each of the basic settings, we've got number of measures, so you can change that. You can do multiple harmonies. Unfortunately, in the screen recording, you can't see the drop down. And then here is my fancy thing that I was like, oh, this is brilliant, at having a Bach mode where I told the AI to train itself on Bach melodies. That still needs some work, but it at least follows some of the rules that you would learn in freshman year music theory class. Then you've got, in the musical settings, you've got treble clef. You can change it to bass and alto. Then you can change the key signatures. So I'll actually change it so you can see. So you can notice there in the key, it just changed to G. We'll put it back at C. And then time signatures, it's got 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 7/4, 3/8, 6/8, 9/8, 12/8, 5/8, 7/8, 10/8, and 11/8. So kind of hitting some of the main time signatures and then some of the weirder ones that you would actually run into. So, and then you scroll down a little bit more, then we've got the note length, so you can check all or none. And usually I just set it for any beginners, half, quarter, maybe eighth notes. And then you've got rests that you can add in there that go along with the note lengths. Also in the note length container, you can see the random accidentals. Now here's something that most sight reading books can't do, which is limit the range. So if you're a beginner, maybe you just want to work on an octave or even just one string. Intermediate, you can expand it and then use the quick presets. That was one of my favorite features because I've seen sites like this, but they're always just missing something. So you've got, E4 to D5, E5 to E6. So basically the entire range of the guitar. So it defaults E4 to D5. Then to the next part, you've got the metronome, so you can just have it play. Or if you want to work for a specific amount of time, you can just hit the timer button and it'll start going. The sight reading mode, I'm still working on this. There's the free practice mode, which is where the default, when you come to the website, does. I'm working on getting a level up progression system where it automatically selects the complexity. That needs, like I said, needs a bit of work. And then the chord reading, that also needs a bit of work. So when you make it to the bottom of the page, after you've selected all the parameters that you want, there's a big Generate Music button, and it's going to make a new melody for you each time you click it. And then you have the Play MIDI function. So if you want to hear what it sounds like, it's set to acoustic guitar. There's also piano, violin. So if you want to hear something else, you could do that. But I think the acoustic guitar sounds best for us guitar players. So I'll hit play on this melody. Generate again. So not too bad. I told the AI to focus on making sure that the melodies actually make sense. Some of the other ones that I've seen, like your notes are just bouncing everywhere, and I told it like, hey, make sure it actually sounds like a real melody. And then, if that's not enough for you, just something that I added a couple weeks ago because a student asked me if there was an app for chord reading. There's a new button at the top called Chord Reading Mode. So we'll jump into that. This one's way less involved, still a work in progress, but you can select how many chords you want, the key signature, time signature, the chord charts, if you want to show Roman numerals, if you'd rather read it that way, how big the chord charts are, and then it has a few like simple strumming patterns, and then you can select the chord types, major, minor, dominant 7, minor 7, major 7, and suspended chords. If you want them to be bar chords only, you can check that, and I've got it to the point where you can do slash chords as well. I got a whole bunch more I want to add to it, but not there yet. And then another similar metronome function as well. So let's hit the generate chord, and that's what it looks like. So it gives you your A minor, E minor, and C major, and then your random chord progressions. So you'd have 2 measures of A minor, a measure of E minor, and a measure of C. And again, you can play it and the MIDI will play. So that's pretty much it. And again, if you want to quiz yourself, you can go back up to the top and uncheck Show Chord Charts, generate chords again, and it gives you new chord progressions without the charts there. So if you want to drill memorizing your chords, you can do that as well. Oh, and then I forgot, there is a dark mode for both these things. So if you want to do some late night sight reading because you're a good student, you can check that on and off for the dark mode. So that's how all this works. You'd get some fresh sight reading material, stuff that you've never seen in that particular order, and that's the point of sight reading. And look, I get it, sight reading isn't glamorous. It's not the skill that gets you the applause or the girls, but it is the skill that determines whether you're a musician who can jump into a jam session, read a chart at a recording session, or learn music really, really quickly. Every great musician I know has strong sight reading, not because they're naturally gifted, but because they practice it consistently. I'll interrupt from my regularly scheduled programming. When I went into college and I had to audition, I was already playing classical pieces that they expected me to play at the senior level. And then they busted out the sight reading music, and I remember like it was yesterday. It was in the key of A flat, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, here we go. And I'm like sitting there deciphering, with this classical guitar and just going through it. And man, it felt like a half an hour, and I only made it through the first half of the first measure, and then I hear, I think it was the dean of the music department at the time, and he's like, okay, you can stop.
Your music's bad and you should feel bad.
And I was just like sweating bullets. At that point, I knew I wanted to get better at sight reading. It goes with the classic joke, how do you get a guitarist to stop playing? Put sheet music in front of them. I remember I heard that joke after going to college, and I took such offense to that. I was just like, okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to get so much better at sight reading. And how did I do that? I wish I had something like this in college. This would have made me more excited to actually do it because I realized, like, shoot, I'm already memorizing this stuff as I'm going. Something like this is something that I wanted. This tool removes a lot of excuse of, like, I don't have sight reading books. Well, you do now. And, I've read all my books already. Well, this generates infinite new material. And books don't focus on my weak areas. It's like, well, customize it. And it's like, I can't afford a book. It's like, it's free. So I built this for my students, but the more I used it, the more I realized this isn't just for guitarists, this is for any musician who reads notation, piano, vocalists, wind instruments, string players, everybody. And I'm still adding features. The chord reading mode, I got to tweak some stuff. I'm working on more advanced harmonic progressions, maybe some more rhythmic exercises. I don't know about interval training, but I've worked on that on a separate app. But the thing is, I built this because I needed it, and it was something that I wanted in the past, and I want to share it, not just with my students, but with everybody here. And it's not perfect, it's not polished like a commercial app, but it works, and it's free, and it's made by a teacher who understands what practice actually looks like, and someone who's actively engaging with their students to become better sight readers. So here's what I want you to do. Go to sheetmusicgenerator.com, the link will be in the description. Try it out, 5 minutes, generate an exercise in any key that you're comfortable with. Set the metronome if you want, and then just start sight reading. And then come back here and tell me what feature should I add next, what would make this tool even more useful for your practice routine. And if this tool saves you money on sight reading books or helps you level up your reading skills, consider supporting it at the top for the Buy Me a Coffee. There's a link there, and I'll leave it in the description as well. Every contribution does help keep this free, and it'll help me keep building more tools for musicians. And if you want to take your playing even further, I offer private lessons where we can work on sight reading technique, theory, repertoire, customized to your goals. Check the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. And if you found this useful, hit the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to more musicians who need it. Subscribe if you want more lessons, more tools, and more content that actually help you improve. Keep playing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.
The CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer.